what is it about being an entrepreneur versus the clear path of executing, taking all the skill sets, all the things that you have, your work ethic, your drive, your consistency, and deciding not to do that under someone else's roof?
When you're an entrepreneur, you get to bet on yourself, and you're not betting on the company, right? If you're working at IBM or Salesforce and tens of thousands of employees, you're just working in the infrastructure and you're helping them try to move the big picture needle. For entrepreneurship, and so collaborations, launching this, doing that, new SKU product launch, expansion into these territories, no one is to tell us yes and no, and we have full control and full navigational, ability to kind of figure out how we want to continue to move this thing forward. And for me, the bottom line again is the ability to bet on yourself is something that I would do over and over and over and over again before going to work for a corporate company at this point in my life. And I do agree with you. A lot of people would say it's too risky and I'd rather get a steady paycheck and not have to deal with it. But I am not one of those. I'm a risk taker, and I'd rather have more upside, high risk, high upside, and bet on myself.
I think one cool thing that's interesting, having the art behind you, is there is an artistic element to this. Like, you get to be a business builder, an entrepreneur, impact the lives of multiple people that work for you as the company grows and do all this stuff. But then you also get to throw this artistic spin on it of who you are. And if you look at the partnerships, for example, that you guys are doing with Intelligentsia and the Keep, that's an expression of who you are, right? How cool is that you get to choose to collaborate on things that already mean something in your life? So, I mean, maybe you can even talk a little bit about that. With Intelligentsia is a staple coffee roaster in Venice, right? And it's somewhere that we've spent hundreds of hours. How did that partnership come about, and what does it mean to you to be able to align yourself with brands that you're already such a fan of with what you've now grown into this company?
The bottom line is it's an absolute dream come true. For the cannabis people that are listening to this, I think most people would agree that cannabis and coffee go really well together. Just a quick example is...
And have for decades. Right? Amsterdam.
Yeah, exactly. If you think about it, sometimes you get like a little too stony and you want to kind of snap out of it and you take a shot of espresso, or sometimes you feel like a little tweaky off cold brew and you want to take a hit of a J, and they actually have a perfect balance if you can get the right balance between the two that gets you a really well-balanced kind of, energetic, euphoric high with a little bit of coffee and a little bit of cannabis mixed. And so we have a pretty robust edible line, and we have a good chocolate story, a backstory with cacao that comes from Peru and all these different flavors of chocolate. And I really was interested in launching a coffee flavored chocolate bar, an espresso flavored chocolate bar. And, raw ingredients for us is something that has been a big point of what we've done to build the reputation that we have of best edible brand from Leafly the first year that we launched in 2017. And so sourcing raw ingredients that are high quality ingredients, artisanal craft ingredients, has been something that's a backbone of the business. And so Intelligentsia is literally my number one favorite coffee roaster. And back to your previous question of being a trailblazer in an industry that's never been done before in its infancy stages, I live every day of why not? Who's to tell me no? Why not go for it? And so I literally hit up a gentleman by the name of Kevin off of LinkedIn, Intelligentsia. By the way, even though they have a huge presence in Venice, they're actually headquarters in Chicago, Illinois. They have
I had no idea.
They're an Illinois-based coffee roaster, and they have distribution in over 1,000 roasters across the country. They have brick and mortar across the country, including Melrose and Abbot Kinney and all over Los Angeles. But I basically reached out to...
Here I am thinking it was like a Venice local hotspot.
I think everyone thinks
even
that.
Living there for a decade.
I think everyone thinks that because of their presence out here. But I ended up reaching out to a gentleman off LinkedIn named Kevin, and I just kind of said, hey, man, I'm Alex from Binsk. I would love to talk to you a little bit. And he introduced me to his boss, and his boss climbed the ladder a little bit. The next thing you know, I was on a Zoom call with the CEO of Intelligentsia pitching him on this idea of the perfect combination of cannabis and coffee, and telling him exactly what I just told you a minute ago. And it was a couple other people on the call. And when I used the analogy of, when you're a little shaky in the morning and you need a hit of a J to balance you out, the call just went crickets. It was dead silent. And I could tell that they were maybe not the biggest everyday cannabis consumers like maybe I am. And, it was really funny, but we ended up getting a deal signed, and we're looking to expand that relationship. We'll be launching additional SKUs with them on the THC side and hopefully on the hemp side as well.